Right, all right, all right. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to get some yes, yes, yes in the chat box if you can see me and hear me. I see you, Bolu. Hi, Bolu. Soren Sami. Wow, that's a fantastic name. Greatness. Woohoo! Olohive, I see you. Hi, hi, hi. Tell me if you can see me clearly. You can hear me clearly. You're ready to roll, ready to roll. Let me have some emojis. If we were live, I would probably be moving around, hugging you, shaking you, and doing all that. But yes, yes, yes. Give me some emojis in the chat box. The devil is not even ready for this. Oh my goodness. Someone kept asking me, why are you so passionate about the 90 days? Why are you so passionate about the end of the year? It's just scriptural. Yes, the end of a thing, the end of a thing will be better. Okay, our latter will be greater. Put it in the chat box. Say it with me. My latter will be greater. I want you to type it out. My latter will be greater. This is going to be very interactive. So get ready to do a lot of typing. Kayode, I see you. Yes, yes, yes. Taufik, yes, you can see and hear me. That's fantastic. Hi, Balogun. Welcome, welcome. If you got friends, family, enemies who need to be here, go and get them. Go and get them. See, God is preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Let them come. Because if everyone is stepping to the next level, it will make a difference in the community. It will make a difference in our lives. It will make a difference in the world. Yes, type it in the comment box. My latter will be greater. My latter will be greater. You see, affirmations are wonderful because they help to create clarity, and clarity clears out confusion. Clarity brings focus. And that's some of the things I'm hoping I can share with you today. I'm just going to wait one more minute and then we'll get started. We have a few things to get through, and I want to make sure that I'm taking the time to also answer a few questions. So for those who are coming in late, I hope you catch this on the replay. My latter will be greater. I want you to type it and mean it as you type it. My latter will be greater. My latter will be greater. Yes, I see you. Hi, Zini. Hi, Choice. Woohoo! We're going to have some fun here. I have prayed and fasted all night. So I'm ready to release what God is sharing in the hour and sharing in this moment. And I hope that as you receive it with faith in your heart. My name is Mofoluwaso Ilevbare. You can call me Fofo for short. For those who are seeing me for the first time, I am a game changer. I am a game changer. If you ask me who I am, I would have been dead 3 times. God has rescued me from the pangs of death. And so every single day of my life is about helping you to be unstoppable at work and life, to understand the vision and the purpose, the path that God has crafted for you, not about doing what someone else is doing. It's about embracing the fullness of who God has made you. And despite the challenges that we face every day, recognizing that though we walk through the valley of the shadows of death, the promises of God are that He will be with us and that grace and mercy will pursue you. You don't even need goodness and mercy will follow. Like follow us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram. And so that's the promise of God, and we need to embrace that every single moment. So, welcome to How to Dominate the Next 90 Days. Guess what? Today is day 2 already. Okay, so it's important to know that the sun will still rise and will still set as long as heaven and earth remain. Seed time and harvest time will always continue. But what will make a difference is when you make a change for yourself. Hi, Balogun, I see you. Hi, Uncle Femi is here. Oh my goodness. I will tell you a story about my dear, one of my mentors who is online already. Welcome, welcome. And if you see me looking to the side from time to time, it's my mobile phone, just checking your comments so that way I'm making sure I'm capturing everything. So let's get started. How to dominate the next 90 days. How to stay motivated in the next 90 days. Now, I want you to tell me in the comment box, use one word to describe how you're feeling. This is October. We've gone through January to September. This is October. Tell me, how are you feeling? Give me one word in the comment section. Like I said, this is going to be interactive. So even though I can't see you, I can see you through the comment box. So tell me in the comments, one word. How are you feeling right now? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, how are you feeling? Give me one word in the comment section so I can sense how you're feeling. Anyone? One word. Yes. Tired. Yes. I hear that. Hi, Gioma. Exhausted. Hopeful. Yes. Just put in some words. Because it's very important. And that's where I'm going to start from. How to dominate the next 90 days. I'm going to be sharing with you 10 steps. Normally, I will talk about using 1, 3, 5 steps, but I want to share with you 10 steps. And the very first step is to establish where you are. The first step to dominating the next 90 days is to establish where you are. So sharing one word about how you're feeling right now is very important. Empty, drained, anxious, wondering when I will enter into fulfillment of prophecy. Expectant, I'm seeing you. Worn out, hopeful, overwhelmed. Yes, it's very important. The very first step to dominating the next 90 days is to establish where you are. It's not about trying to fake it till you make it. The most important thing at this stage is to get clarity for yourself. Not what you're showing on social media, because we all put up our best pictures, our best profile pictures on social media. The very first step to dominating the next 90 days is to establish where you are. And the best way to do that is to take the time to find out how you are feeling. So the words you're sharing with me, I'm sure these words mean something to you. These words mean something to you. Expectant, hopeful, overwhelmed. Yes, establish where you are. When you establish where you are, you open your eyes to see what exactly is going on around you. Now, for those of you who downloaded the planner that I sent out, if you didn't do it, please, after this seminar, make sure you go to my website and download that. For some of you also, you probably have seen my book, Stop Wishing, Start Doing, where we talk about the wheel of life. In establishing where you are, it's very important to assess the 8 dimensions of your life. As you think about this one word that you have put in the chat box, I want you to think about it in the light of the 8 dimensions of your life. Spiritual dimension, how am I feeling? Mental dimension, how am I feeling? Physical, financial, social and relational. In terms of legacy, in terms of my professional life, how am I feeling mentally? That's the first step. So if you want to dominate the next 90 days, I encourage you to take the time to do that assessment. I ask you to come with a notepad. So if you came with a notepad or a pen or something, I will just demonstrate to you when we talk about that wheel of life and we talk about those 8 dimensions, what is it that you're expected to do? So imagine if life is like a cycle, okay? And I'm going to show you, because this is an active class. In terms of life being a cycle, and imagine if every single dimension of life was a quadrant. So I'm going to show you very quickly what I have done. Life is a cycle and it's a circle, because it's not easy to say you want to dissociate one aspect of your life from the other. It's a circle and it's a cycle. Every single part of our lives is interwoven into one. So when you think about the 8 dimensions of life, I mentioned them already, and I'm just going to take time to write them down. In case you have a note, you can go ahead and write it down. You've got the spiritual, you've got the mental, you've got the emotional, you've got the physical, we have relational, and in there is all your social relationships that you have. We've got professional, we've got financial, and we've got legacy. If you can connect with me, I want you to say it in the chat box. Let me know you're there. So this is it. These are the 8 dimensions of life. You've got your spiritual, which is at the head of all, your connection with God. your connection with a power source. Guess what? No matter how far you run away from that concept, you were created by someone, and that person cares for you. There is always a yearning and a longing in the heart of man to worship something. Whether you like it or not, you are worshiping something. If you're not worshiping God, you're worshiping maybe money, you're worshiping fame, you're worshiping social media, you're worshiping Netflix. Guess what? You are worshiping something. You're worshiping Bitcoin, you are worshiping something. So the earlier you have a solid connection with God Himself, you can make a difference in your life. So we've got spiritual, and as you see it here, these are the 8 dimensions of life. So the first step to dominating the next 90 days is to establish where you are. And the easy thing I tell people to do is to take this simple, you don't need any gimmick. And you will notice in most of my master classes, I don't bring too much grammar, because it's not the grammar that changes our lives. It's the small steps we take in the direction of purpose that help us to align with God's plan for our lives and helps you to find fulfillment. So I'm not going to bring any big grammars, but I'm going to help you to take some things that can make you coach yourself in the quietness of your room, in the quietness of your space. And when you do that, you will start to change the trajectory of the next 90 days. So imagine these 8 dimensions of life. Look at them very quickly. These 8 dimensions, they are all on a scale of 1 to 10. In order to establish where you are, my point number 1 is to establish where you are. In order to establish where you are, you have to assess yourself on each of these dimensions. And the question to ask yourself is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate myself? So, spiritual level, out of 10, where am I? Emotional, where am I? Mental, where am I? Physical, where am I? Relational, financial, professional, and legacy. Give yourself a rating. And I'm just going to demonstrate here. The ratings are more like dots. So picture them like dots. And I'm just going to demonstrate it here so you can see what I'm talking about. If you have never done this assessment before, I will encourage you to try it out. So this is what I have done. You will put inside each quadrant, you will put a dot. Just put a dot inside each quadrant, and then you will join them. You know, when we were younger, we used to have all these puzzles. Join the dots. When you join the dots, you will find out what your own cycle looks like. That is how to establish where you are. So the very first point to dominating the next 90 days is to establish where you are. Step number 2, take responsibility. Take responsibility. Once you have established where you are, take responsibility for how your own circle looks like. Take responsibility for it. If you notice, this doesn't look like the kind of circle or the kind of tire you want to put by your car. It's probably going to be very wobbly. So step number 1, establish where you are. Step number 2, take responsibility. We cannot change what we continue to tolerate. As long as you can fit your feet into those pair of shoes, even though you know that the pain is real, as long as you keep wearing those shoes, you are not going to change anything. But the moment you say enough is enough, the moment you say, I want to move from overwhelmed to abounding, the moment you say, I want to move from hopeless to hopeful, the moment you say, I want to move from being tired to energized, you are about to kickstart a change in your life. So for every single person who had the word overwhelmed, worn out, anxious, I want you to put another word in the chat box now. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? If you're worn out, maybe you want to move to being excited. If you're stuck, maybe you want to move to unstoppable. What is the one word that by the end of this 90 days, you want to look back and see that you have made a difference and see that you have moved? I want you to put it in the comment section. I'm waiting for some. Courageous. Yes, Choice, I see you. Courageous. Some of you are saying courageous, energetic, absolutely, productive. Yes. So this is what I want you to do. Fulfilled, inspiring. Yes. As you think about the next 90 days, I see you, Chidima. I see you, the eunuch. Fulfilled, excited and fruitful, unstoppable, wealthy. Yes. As you think about those words, I want you to make sure before the end of this masterclass, you take a post-it note. Take a post-it note and write that word. Write that word out. And every day of the next 90 days, I want you to repeat those words to yourself. You wake up in the morning and you say, I am productive today. You wake up in the morning and you say, I am wealthy today. You wake up in the morning, I'm excited and fruitful today. Words have power. Yes, dynamic, productive, progressed. When you wake up in the morning, say these things to yourself. Because when you take responsibility for where you are able to change the trajectory of your life. So when you wake up every morning, as you say your prayers and as you commune with God, it's very important. Before you put your feet in your slippers, before you pick up your phone, because sometimes many of us, the first thing we do when we wake up is to check what we missed on Instagram. Before you do those things, I want you to repeat this word to yourself and make 1 or 2 sentences about it. Mention your name. I am energized today. I am dynamic in the purpose of God for my life. I am fulfilled. I am never confused in life. I've got clarity of what I need to do. When you flip the coin and you're taking responsibility for the next 90 days, you're changing something in your life. So use that cycle of life, of success, to really identify where you are. That's step number 1. Establish where you are. Step number 2 is to take responsibility for it. Find the words that you would use to flip from one to another. Number 3, identify your blockers. Identify your blockers. This is where I am. I am feeling overwhelmed at the moment. I am feeling exhausted at the moment. Why am I feeling exhausted? Take the time to understand it. Why am I tired? Why am I stuck? Why am I afraid? Why am I unfruitful? Why am I not progressing? That's the next step. Identify your blockers. They could be faith blockers. Maybe you're not trusting God enough. They could be fear blockers. You're afraid of something. They could be success blockers. You're afraid of success. Yes, whether you like it or not, there are some of us who are afraid of success because you don't want to be in the limelight. Emotional blockers. Physical blockers. Maybe you just don't like the way you look. You just don't like the way you feel. Maybe you have a grudge with someone. Maybe you are grieving. Why am I where I am? Identify your blockers. If you're joining us, you're welcome. I see Yolua Fisayo, welcome. Every single person who is here, I honor you. I have prayed for you and I thank God for your life. And I trust that each one of us will be here even 90 days from now. We're talking about how to dominate the next 90 days. And I'm going to share with you just 10 simple steps that I feel you can use and which I am practicing as well in my life to make sure that I'm accelerating the next 90 days. Step number 1 was to establish where you are. And I talked to you about the cycle of success or cycle of life that can help you to measure the 8 dimensions of your life. Step number 2 is to take responsibility for where you are. Take responsibility for how you are feeling. Take responsibility for the moments in your life right now. No matter what has happened between January to September, this is today. This is your moment right here with me on this YouTube live session. Take responsibility for it. Number 3, I said identify your blockers. Identify your blockers. In the chat box, it's going to be very interactive because I can't see you, but you can see me. So make me see some love here, all right? In the chat box, tell me one blocker that you see. As you think about your life right now, what is one blocker that you see? Maybe it's a spiritual blocker. Maybe it's a fear blocker. Maybe it's a success blocker. Maybe it's emotional. Maybe it's people. Maybe it's technology. What is a blocker? Maybe it's your mindset, your belief in yourself. Maybe it's your competence. Maybe it's a loss. Maybe it's a financial blocker. What is a blocker that you see? I want you to put one in the chat box, because by the end of this masterclass, I want you to have experienced a transformation. I'm not just here to motivate. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm here to help you transform something. And if I accomplish a switch, a light bulb that helps to switch something in you, I have done my job today. Procrastination, yes, procrastination is a blocker. Technology, mindset, yes, our thoughts. Our thoughts frame our words frame our actions, and our actions determine the trajectory of our lives. Technology, the amount of time and energy we spend scrolling through social media and checking up on everyone. Sometimes it just sucks your energy. It sucks energy out. Yes, fear, I hear you. I hear you. Afraid of stepping out. We don't know what people will say. Oh, how would it feel? Oh, how would they know that I'm starting from scratch? Oh, at my age, I should have had this. Oh, look at her on social media, what she already has. The fear of stepping out, the fear of speaking. Last session, I talked about public speaking. If you didn't watch that video, make sure you watch it if that's one of the blockers that you have. The fear of making mistakes. But guess what, Shil? If we don't make mistakes, we don't learn. And mistakes just help us to know one additional way of just doing things. So identify your blockers. That's a step number 3. And I thank you for every single person who is commenting in the chat box. Thank you for being interactive. Seeing requests for proposals as obstacles. I hear you. Someone is asking, request for proposals, submit this. You know, right now is the season of scholarships and the season of application to schools. There's some of us who have to go forward to school, but you're afraid. You're wondering, where will I start from? How will I do it? We're not going back to school. You're going forward to school. Take the responsibility for your actions. Identify your blockers and then begin to see how you can move on them. Okay? So step number 1, establish where you are. In case you're typing, I want to make sure that I keep going back so that you don't miss anything. Step number 2 is to take responsibility. Step number 3 is to identify your blockers. When you identify your blockers, it helps you to understand the why. Because guess what? Nothing happens and nothing changes until we understand the why. Why am I here when I'm supposed to be here? Why am I here when I'm supposed to be here? Is it social media distraction? Is it lack of accountability? Is it not having the right mentors? Is it not being in the right relationship? Is it my fear of making mistakes? Is it my fear of success? Is it the thoughts that I have that I can't, I'm not enough? Identify your blockers. When you identify your blockers, it will start you on a journey to progress and significance. Identify your blockers. Step number 4, redefine your identity. Step number 4, redefine your identity. Once you have established where you are, you've taken responsibility for it, you've identified your blockers. Number 4 is to redefine your identity. Because guess what? Before you were formed, the purpose for which you were created was already established in you. You were meant to be a king and a queen, dominating the earth, being fruitful, multiplying. When God breathed his life into us, he breathed the fullness of the dignity, the Trinity. We are Godified. I always say it. The same way many of us are trying to code programs and things, you have been codified. You have been coded, whether there's a word like that. You are coded with the greatness of God. And so it's important to redefine your identity, your kingdom identity now. Yes, your kingdom identity. And as you redefine your kingdom identity, write it out. Write it out. Who am I? You know, it's Miles Monroe that talks about these questions that till eternity, we will all keep still asking. Who am I? Redefine your identity and start to articulate it. Start to write it out. Start to write it out for yourself. Who am I? Start to identify it. Who am I? Who have I been created to be? Because guess what? Clarity will give you direction. Clarity will give you focus. Clarity will help you to establish what you need to do in the next 90 days and beyond. Clarity will help you to identify with who you really are. Not who you are physically right now, not the overwhelmed, not the exhausted, not that person, but the person that God created. The person who feels fulfilled, the person who feels satisfied, the person who is energized. See, when you have clarity, you will hustle less. There's some of us we're hustling so much. You've been hustling since January till September. It is time to embrace grace. It is time to settle into who God has made you. It is time to understand that He has set a table before you. It is time to understand that, you see, that food has been prepared for you. You just need to walk in the authority and position yourself for purpose. I talk about it a lot. We don't look around finding purpose. Purpose has found you. Purpose ordained you from the very beginning. And you may say, oh, I didn't get to choose the family I was born to. I didn't get to choose the school I went to. I didn't get to choose the course that I studied in school. Maybe you heard my own story before. You know, the course I studied in school, I just took the JAMB brochure. For those of us from Nigeria, you know that brochure that has the different courses you can study. I took that brochure and I said, God, you know my future, you know my past, you know my present. I threw it up, I threw it down, and it's open to pharmacy. Some of you, maybe your parents were like, you have to do medicine, you have to do law, you have to do accountancy. And maybe for some of you, it was JAMB that just jammed you, and you found yourself studying Yoruba. I have a friend who studied Yoruba but ended up being almost an assistant MD in a bank. Your titles do not define you. Redefine your identity. That's step number 4. Your titles do not define you. Maybe you've lost a job this year. You're not defined by that job title. Maybe you've gained promotion this year. You're not defined by it. Maybe you call yourself founder, CEO. You're not defined by those titles. Who are you? The real you. Purpose has been deposited in you. We don't go around looking for it. We position ourselves for it. We position ourselves to be the Godified person that God has made us. The codes that God has deposited in you, you take the time to reestablish and identify those codes. And guess what? Who I am, what I will write down may be different from what you will write down. If this is making sense to you, please put it in the chat box. I want to be sure that I am communicating how I'm feeling right now. Because being unstoppable is not just word of mouth. There are 4 categories of people. There's the category that are unbelievers. I call them unbelievers. Unbelievers are the people who do not even understand why they're here. They don't even believe when God says that you are the head and not the tail. They don't believe it when it says that all things will work together for you. They're unbelievers. They're very pessimistic about life. Nothing will go well. Everybody is out to get you. Your family does not love you because you came as a boy or came as a girl, or because you were born in the particular country or family you're born into. The village people are chasing you. These are unbelievers. Unbelievers who do not understand the dynamics of the kingdom and the reason why you exist for such a time as this. That's the first category of people. The second category of people are the dreamers. These are people who are beginning to understand that there's a reason why I'm here. There's a dream. They start thinking big. When Martin Luther King Jr. was saying, I have a dream, he could see something. Clarity will cure confusion. Clarity will bring direction. Clarity will bring focus. So, unbelievers, that's a particular kind of people. Second category are the dreamers. These are people who can see something. They believe bigger. They believe that there's a purpose. They believe that there's a reason why we exist. They believe that there's something that's going to happen. So one category are the unbelievers. Second category are the dreamers. The third category, they move from dreaming to do-littles. I call them the do-littles. The do-littles. Maybe you watched that movie, Dr. Dolittle, I don't know. But the do-littles are the third category. These are people who go beyond dreaming, because there's some people, since January, they've been dreaming, they're dreaming, they keep dreaming, they're still dreaming. This is October, they're still dreaming. They're sleepwalking in daylight, and just dreaming. Oh, I wish I had this. Oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish this was fine. Oh, I wish this. And they stay at that level of dreaming. But then the next level are the do-littles. These are people who start doing the dream. They start doing the dream. So they move from unbelief to dream. And then from dreaming, they move to doing. And from there, they're doing little. That means they're taking little steps every day. Now, sometimes they fall back. Sometimes they fall back, they're afraid. Sometimes they don't know what to do. But then they wake up the next morning and do little again. They go up and they do little again. That's the third category. So we got the unbelievers who have no clue what's going on, who believe that life is a conspiracy, who believe that everybody is out to get them, their life is not progressive because of XYZ. Then we move to the dreamers who start to believe there's something for me here, there's a purpose. Then we move to the do-littles who begin to start executing the dream. And after the do-littles, we move to the unstoppables. Unstoppables. The unstoppables are the people who take that dream. They not only do it, they do it big. They do it understanding that there is a purpose and a plan. They understand that there is a fight. I must fight for it. I must fight for my purpose. I must fight for what God has called me into. I cannot allow distractions to get into my space. I cannot allow fear to shake me away from this. I cannot allow discouragement to make me do little. So you move from unbelievers, you move to dreamers. From dreamers, you move to do-littles. From do-littles, you move to unstoppable. Which one are you? Yes. Which category do you fall in? And which category should you fall in? I'm hoping that by the end of this masterclass, you're reaching for that level 4 and beyond. You're reaching for level 4 and beyond. I'm talking about how to dominate the next 90 days. You need to move from unbelief to dreaming, to doing, and then to being unstoppable. So establish where you are. Take responsibility for your actions. Identify your blockers. Redefine your identity. Who am I? What have I been created to do? What am I meant to be doing right now? Okay? So as you think about it, identify your blockers and then redefine your identity. Step number 5, I'm going to start moving faster now. Clarify your vision. Clarify your vision. You know that story, and we say it a lot about maybe you've tried to buy a car before, or you've tried to buy something, a bag, a shoe, an Ankara, something like that. And they tell you, oh, this is the best that you can find. It's new in town. Nobody else has it. You know, I remember when we wanted to buy, I think, our very first car, and we wanted a gray Camry. In those days, Camry was like, hey, the it thing. We wanted a Camry, okay? And we went to this place and we found this nice gray, sleek Camry, but we didn't have money. Let's be honest. We just went there. The guy took us around. We cruised the car. I'm telling you, we just, we decided we were going to buy a car. And we went to Lagos at that time. We went to a car depot and we went to go and check out cars. For some of you, as you're clarifying your vision, you need to step out because that clarity will cure confusion. Yes, it will cure confusion. Oluwafisayo, I am unstoppable. Absolutely. Begin to tell yourself that. I see you, Boyga. Okay, so let me tell you this story very quickly. We wanted to buy a car, but we didn't have any money. You can sit in the house and be the unbeliever and say, maybe my generation, they don't have cars in my family. We settle for whatever we can find. A dreamer will say, I dream of having a car. A do-little will step out and go and find out how much are the cars? How much do they sell it? So my husband and I, we decided to go to Lagos, and then we went to the car depots, and we got there and we're just looking at cars, just trying to understand how much cars are being sold. Because if you don't even know how much, how do you know what to pray for? How do you know what to save or invest in? How do you know what to believe God for? So we went and we started checking out different cars. And we got to this place where we saw this lovely gray Camry. Oh, it was so beautiful. And obviously it was relatively new, just a few kilometers or miles. And the guy was very, very excited. Once he saw us, he said, oh, this couple look like they are rich. Not knowing we didn't have any money. So he took us, put us inside the car, put on the AC. Then he said, would you like to test drive it? We said, yes, why not? So he took us on a 5-10 minutes kind of drive. And I'm telling you, the car was just moving. There's a difference between ayokele. I don't know how to translate that in there's a difference between a motor car and a vehicle. You know what I mean? We could feel the difference. And then we go back to the car park. The guy was like, okay, so would you like to buy this car? We said, yes, we would like to buy it, but we don't have money. Remember what I said, dreamers and do-littles. We don't have money. We only came to just check it out. In his mind, I'm sure he was wondering, after all this effort, taking you around, you will tell me you won't buy. He said, but I like you. I like you and I want to sell the car to you. Even if maybe pay for the space, the car rental space, then I will take the car off the table. We were like, even the amount you mentioned, in the next 1 year, we don't even think we will have this money. But there was something about him. He was persistent. He really wanted to sell us the car, sell the car to us. So he told us to go and talk to his boss. He took us into a room. We went to talk to the boss. The boss was like, oh, okay, how much do you have? We looked at ourselves again. To be honest, we came to that place with maybe 5,000 or 10,000 naira or something like that. Just something ridiculous to buy millions of naira. But we didn't intend to buy. We just came to see. Well, guess what? When you start positioning yourself for some things, you will start seeing that God will start making things align. I'm not apologetic about this. I don't believe it when people say, oh, the universe will start conspiring. Who is the universe? Hey, when you can position yourself for purpose with the God who created the universe, when you understand who you are, your identity, and you redefine it, the universe belongs to you. It's not about the universe creating and conspiring against you or for you. You own it. Child of God, you own it. I don't know if you're catching what I'm catching. You own it. No matter how the last 9 months have been, have been, there is a God in heaven. You own who owns the universe and has given it to you. He has given you the keys. You just need to position yourself. So this guy was really bent on selling this car to us. And we told them, oh, this is how much we have. And he said, okay, if you can put a little more, then at least you can make a 5% deposit. Make a 5% deposit, then I will take the car off the auction, and then we can work out an arrangement. As we were doing that, we looked at each other. We quickly went to the ATM, took out a bit more money. I can't even remember how much, but we're able to deposit 5% that day. Now imagine if we never left our house. Imagine if we never left the house. We were still in that place of unbelief. Can we ever buy a car? Then we moved into dreaming. Oh, I wish I had the car. But then we stepped into do little. Okay, what is it that I need to do? How much is this car? How much is it? What will it take? We went into the test drive it. And guess what? The opportunities began to surface. You don't go around, I'm looking for my purpose. Stop it! Stop it. Position, position, position. There's a blessing that comes from your duty post. Some of us are in roles at work where it seems as if you're doing the barest minimum. You're doing office housework, or maybe your business is not really thriving well. I am unstoppable. Wake up every morning and tell yourself, I'm going to move from a dreamer to a do-little, from a do-little to an unstoppable. Because when you start positioning for purpose, you start working with God and things start falling in place. That table he has set before you starts shaping up. That identity he has given to you, you start embodying it. So that day we ended up paying 5%. We left that place 5% richer, in quote, owning a car in our minds at 5%. But guess what happened? We created a payment plan. We created like a three deposit payment plan. I don't know why he just decided he was going to sell the car to us, because we just didn't have the money. But before we left, we created a three payment plan. But guess what happened? In less than 3 months, we were back to pick up the car. In less than 3 months, we were back to pick up the car. How? Why? Because all of a sudden, things started falling in place. You know, when you want to buy, everywhere we went, you know how it is when you say, I want to buy a gray Camry. I don't know if it's happened to you before. I want to buy this. And suddenly, everywhere you go, you just start seeing it. We're at the car park. Look at this. That's a gray Camry. You go to the mall. Oh, that's a gray Camry. You are in traffic. Oh, has it happened to you? You want to buy, they tell you this Ankara is one in town. This Ankara is one in town. And then you buy it, but everywhere you go, you now start seeing people wearing it. Has it happened to you before? Tell me in the chat box. Say yes, yes, yes. I want to be sure you're following. All of a sudden, you start seeing the shoe. All of a sudden, you start seeing the car. All of a sudden, you start seeing the book. The moment you say, I want to do this. Why? Because there is something about your mind, heart, hands connection. When you start positioning yourself with purpose and with God, what happens is focus. Focus creates a blindness. Focus creates blindness. Let me explain what I mean. All of a sudden, because you have focused your mind on something, you focus your mind on that Camry, you focus your mind on that exam, you focus your mind on that position, you focus your mind on what you want. Everything just starts coming into alignment. Everything that is not supposed to be a Camry just starts disappearing. When we started seeing Camry cars all over, it's not that the cars were not there. They were there. But because we have created a focus, focus creates blindness. The things that do not matter just start going away. Yes, Uche, thank you. You call it recognition system. The recognition system starts kicking in. You start seeing that object everywhere. But guess what? You are not just seeing the object. So focus, it brings clarity, right? But it also creates blindness. Things that will distract you. It just starts creating that. You don't even see those things anymore. So you start seeing the thing you want to see, and you do not see the things that you don't want to see. You start seeing courage instead of fear. You start seeing that you're good enough instead of I am not enough. You start seeing that I am fearfully and wonderfully made instead of I don't like how I look. You start seeing I'm a stammerer. You start seeing that I can speak confidently. Focus creates clarity, and focus creates blindness. When you clarify your vision, you position yourself to see certain things, and you position yourself to be blind to certain things. You won't spend all your time Netflixing when you know that there is a purpose. I'm not saying don't Netflix. Yes, we all need to relax from time to time. But if that is your blocker, for those of you that identify it as your blocker, you need to do something different about it. I'm talking about how to dominate the next 90 days. And I have 10 steps to cover. Oh my goodness, let me move faster. 10 steps to cover. Establish where you are. Take responsibility. Identify your blockers. Redefine your identity. Clarify your vision. Establish that why. Clarify it. What is it that I've been created to do? And why? What is the problem that God has created me to solve? And why? Our why helps us to establish things. Our why keeps us going. If you watched or if you listen to the 90-day club, if you're not in the 90-day club on Instagram, I encourage you to join it, because I'm going to be sharing things to ginger you over this 90-day period. So if you go on Instagram at 90-day club, join it right now. You will see the first audio, the podcast that I shared today, talking about clarifying your why. Clarifying your why. It helps to push you on the days when things are not going well. It helps you to establish where you are, and at the same time pushes you into the direction. So clarify God's vision for your life and link it with a why. Why do I want to write a book? Some of you, maybe even in the comment box, tell me, what is your 90-day goal? Tell me. Because if you attach it with a why, there will be a progression. If you attach it with a why, on the days when things aren't doing well, you will move forward. So identify, why do I want to write a book? Why do I want to go back to school? Why do I want to invest in financial stability? Why do I want to do this? When you ask yourself the why and you can define that why, it will encourage you on days when things don't go well. Because things may not go well every day. Let's be honest, this is life. I'm in Sydney. We've been on lockdown for 4 months now, like almost house arrest. We can barely move beyond 5 kilometers. When I see all my peeps in Nigeria who are doing, oh, I'm there and attending, I'm like, oh, but that's the situation I'm in. Accept the things you cannot change, but don't stay there. Establish where you are. Accept the reality of some of things, but don't stay there. Focus will create clarity. Yes, Gwega. Focus will create blindness. Clarity to some things, blindness to some things. Okay. So step number 5 is to clarify that vision and purpose. And, I have many courses that will help you. If you join the 90-day club, we'll talk about how can you clarify that. But it comes with establishing your why. Step number 6, craft your fight goals. Craft your fight goals. See, your fight is different. And I don't mean physical fight. But some of us, we may need to do physical fight. I'm talking about crafting this audacious goal that the devil is trying to take away, or situations or distractions or the blockers are trying to stop you from. Craft it. Between now and December, what is your audacious goal? Some of us are too afraid to even define it. Define it. Define it. It's like we're going to war. We're going to war against mediocrity. We're going to war against something. We're going to war against where people feel they can place us. This is where God has placed you. Let's go to war. This is not, see, the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal. So I'm not talking about physical fighting. The battle for the best life we can have starts in the mind. Every single day you wake up, the battle for the best version of your life starts here. It starts with what you're telling yourself. It starts with who you're defining yourself as. It starts with what you are thinking. Which voice will be louder? Because guess what? There are many voices in our heads. There's a voice that will tell you, oh, I can do it. There's a voice that will say, oh, I cannot. Oh, there's a voice that will say, oh, you are good enough. Oh, what will people say? Which voice are you going to silence? And which voice are you going to increase the volume? You know, when you're traveling and you like listening to the radio, sometimes along the journey, the radio waves signals becomes weak or it sometimes disappears. So if you're enjoying the radio and listening to music, you might get to a place where the radio waves or signals are weak and the voice starts becoming distorted, or maybe you start hearing that sound. There's some of us who are in zones where your radio waves are weak. So for you, crafting your fight might be, how do I get myself back to where my radio waves are, or the signals that are coming out are expressly in tune with the purpose and the path of God for my life. They're expressly in tune with where I'm meant to be. I'm moving from an unbeliever. I'm moving into a dreamer. From a dreamer, I'm moving to a Doolittle. From a Doolittle, I'm moving to an unstoppable and beyond. So are my radio signals weak? Maybe it's the environment I'm in. To be able to get that strength, you may need to move away from that environment. Maybe it's the association you are keeping. Maybe it's the belief system that you have. The battle for our best life starts in the mind. You can change your thinking, you can change your life. If you change your conversations, you can change your life. If you change your mindset, you can change the next 90 days. If you change your belief system, you can transform your boldness in the next 90 days. So craft your fight goals. Yes, choice. The goals that you really desire, but are too scared to go for. Let's be honest. If you can achieve everything in your life, where is faith? Where is the place of faith? Faith is the belief in something you can't see yet. Where is the place of it? Where is the place of God helping you, strengthening your arms for war? If you can do it by yourself, you don't need anything. So if you find that your goals don't scare you, there's a problem. If they don't scare you, your goals are not big enough. Yes, that's not my quote, but it's something that is true. If your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. They're not big enough. You need to pick that. What is my fight goal? What am I fighting against that I need to make sure I'm setting myself? So after you craft your goals, it's important. Number 7, structure well. Structure your goals. Some of us know about the smart way of setting goals. That means your goals are specific. They say they're measurable. Your goals must be, accurate or whatever. Your goals are time bound. So you put something to it to make sure that it's possible for you to achieve it. But I always say that your goals should be simple enough for you to understand them. Some of us have goals that are all over the place. Even you, the goal setter, you don't understand it. Make your goals, write it out. Write it out. Some of us don't write down our goals. Write out your goals. Make sure that they're specific. Structure them well. Yes. Structure your goals. Thank you, Tayo, for writing down it. Structure them well. Create a system around it. Make sure that they're measurable. Make sure they are aligned. I like using the word aligned, and that's SMART. So if you can check out the SMART goals and stuff, outsmart your goals. Like, don't just do SMART goals and leave it at that. Make sure your goals are aligned. Remember the quadrants I talked about? So for those who missed it, you can go back. Your goals must be aligned with your cycle. If they are not aligned with your cycle, there's a possibility they will fail. Some of you say, oh, I've set great goals this year, but they didn't work out. The question I will ask you is, how aligned were your goals? If you're a nursing mother and your baby is not sleeping through the night. You can't be like someone who has no child or who all their kids are in college. You can't be in the same kind of boat and be setting the same kind of goals. For you, you may need to reposition your goals in alignment with the season of life you're in. Some people ask me, oh, Fofo, can we have it all? Can we have it all? It's about defining your all. What is your own all? It's different from mine. Someone who is nursing a baby through the night cannot be praying, oh God, give me 10 hours of sleep. Well, you will soon have 10 hours of sleep. But because of the situation you're in at the moment, maybe you can't have 10 hours of sleep. For you, your prayer will be, God, if I get 2 hours of sleep, let it be like those who have slept for 10 hours. Let my energy be renewed like those who slept for 10 hours. That is a smart goal or a smart prayer. Okay. And then get help along the way. So outsmart your goals. It's not just about, making it specific, measurable. Make it aligned. Make it aligned with the season of your life. Define your all and align your goals in that direction. Break it down into smaller steps. Don't just say, oh, I want to lose weight. What does that mean? What does it mean? Align it, and then break it down into little bits. What is step 1? What is step 2? What is step 3? Many of you, if you've been following me, you know I talk about vision boards. Some of us have vision walls. What is that thing? Now, when you wake up every morning over the next 90 days, you will look at it on the wall and say, yeah, mine is here. I can see it right here. I can see what I'm going to do in October. I have it there. October 2nd, I'm going to have this masterclass. I can see it. Position it where you can see it. Focus will bring you clarity, and focus will bring you blindness. So very important, craft your fight goals and then structure them, outsmart them, create. If you look at that planner I've given you, and you can go online and check SMART goals and stuff, you will find some guidance. Embrace great habits. That's my step number 8. Embrace great habits and fuel your goals. Okay. So once you break it into milestones over the next 90 days, week 1, I want to do this. By the end of October, I want to have done this. By the end of November, I want to have done this. Craft it out, write it out, position it where you can see it. Pick out 3 words. Some of you talked about words that you would like to use to describe yourself. Put out those words. And then maybe go on your Google image or Canva or whatever. Find an image that describes that word. If you want to be wealthy, go and look for pictures of wealthy people. Maybe financial wealth, emotional wealth. Maybe you want to be married, or you want to have clarity. You want to have applied for a job. Look for pictures, because whatever we can see, we can have. It just depends on being able to see. And I'm not talking about physical eyes. We're talking about that connection, that focus that brings clarity. So for some of you, part of the things you must have to be able to create your fighting wall is to get pictures of what you're thinking, who you see yourself as in the future. Put it there on the wall. And then I always say, get the best picture of yourself and put it there as well. And be able to tell yourself, girl, I'm unstoppable. Guy, I'm going somewhere. There is greatness inside of me. I'm going somewhere. There is something that God has set me up for, and I'm going somewhere. So structure your goals. Structure it in line with the other alignments of your life. I talked about that very importantly. Okay. Second, structure it in line with your style. For some of us, you are night owls. Some of us, you are the early riser. Some of us, the best time that you are productive is in the middle of the day. So identify your style and tailor executing your goals around that style. It will help you to be better and help you to deliver more things along the way, okay? In line with that, embracing great habits, right? So after you've structured your goals, embrace great habits. Structuring things, self-care is an important one. See, no matter how big or gigantic our goals are, if you don't feel good, nothing happens. I remember I was preparing for an interview at some point many years ago. I was really ready. I had prepared, I had read, I had done everything I needed to do. Then I woke up that morning and I had a running tummy. Guess what? Whether you like it or not, that running tummy has an effect. So no matter the goals you set for yourself, embrace great habits. Thank you, Margaret, for putting that in. Embrace great habits. One of the big habits is self-care. Love yourself more. Some of us are hustling and working ourselves into burnout. God's desire is not burnt out. God's desire for you is not that you be burnt out. His desire is that you are strong and courageous. You can't be strong and courageous if you are burnt out. You can't be strong and courageous if you are overwhelmed. Some of us in this season of 90, you need to take some rest. Your own goal is to establish your self-care. Your goal is to protect your well-being. Your goal is to replenish all the vitamins, the minerals, everything your body has lost, so you can be ready for January. Establish the season you are in. For some of you, it's not about hustling. It's about entering a place of rest. For some of you, it might be stepping out. For some of you, it might be doing one thing or the other. Identify what it is for you and go for it. Identify what it is for you and go for it. Yes, thank you, Unique, for sharing that. SMART means smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. But you know what? I usually say outsmart those goals, because sometimes your goals are not realistic. If you are waiting to set realistic goals, sometimes those goals are not really realistic. You will need to stretch your faith to have God turn it into something realistic. So when you think about SMART goals, remember to outsmart them as well, okay? Because sometimes your goals, if people will not even believe what you're saying. When Martin Luther King was saying, I have a dream, who believed it? Who believed it? But establish the season you're in, and once you're establishing that, you will understand the type of goals that you should have. Sometimes your goals do not look achievable. Like I said, if every time your goal looks achievable, then where is the place of God? But when you position yourself well, you will just start saying that, oh, it's doable. You do step 1, you do step 2, you do step 3. Okay, it's working. You reach out to that person, oh, it's working. Oh, is this? Oh, it's before you know it, it becomes achievable. So it may not look realistic at the start. It may not look achievable at the start, but make sure at least that it's specific. Make sure that it's measurable. That means you can measure when you get there. Imagine, yesterday my kids were busy watching Man U. So I've got a football freak or sports freak in my house. And if you don't know where the goal post is, how do you know when you've scored a goal? Some of us don't have goalposts. We're just everywhere doing everything with everybody. Set your goal. That's part of the structure. Where is the goalpost? So that when the ball goes in, you know it's in the right place. Okay. So what was I talking about? Step number 8, embrace great habits. For some of you, you need to enter a season of rest, a season of self-care, a season of replenishing your energy for the journey you have ahead of you in 2022. For some of you, it's a season of sweat where you need to exercise, to do something. You may say, I want to lose physical weight. It may be that you need to lose mental weight. It may be that you need to lose financial weight. It may be that you need to lose some relationships. For some of you, it's a season of rest. For some, it's a season of sweat. Yes, because I don't know if you've ever been to the gym. They will tell you, no pain, no gain. Go ahead. No pain, no gain. And when you're sweating, it shows that your body is working. You're allowing your body to break down sugar, to break down, those carbs, and turning it into energy. So for some of you, it's a season of sweat. And if that's the season you're in, position yourself well for it. As you do that, take care of your self-care. For some of you, it's a season of stripping away certain things. What has not supported you between January to September? What has not worked? What are you tolerating that you need to just get rid of? Strip it away. Season of stripping. Remove the old wineskin so that you can put new wine into new wineskins. There's a next level and an overflow of abundance of blessing that is coming. How will you position yourself for it? Strip it away. Some of you, that hatred you have for that person that did not give you that job, or for that manager who fired you, or for that, strip it away. Every form of envy, every form of fear, every form of, oh, how I wish, strip it away. So season of rest for some people, season of sweat for others, season of stripping away for others. Which season are you in? Establish your season. I like talking about life balance. If this is making sense, I know you're here. Thank you for being here. But tell me in the chat box if you've gained one thing today so far. Tell me in the chat box. Our time is fast spent, but I'm going to try to finish the 10 steps. I'm talking about how to dominate the next 90 days. And my prayer is that you take away one thing. One thing. One thing. If you found your one thing, tell me in the chat box. I want to be sure that, I heard well when I designed this, okay? Embracing great habits is what we're talking about. That's step number 8. Once you have created your fight goals, embrace the great habits that support those goals. Embrace the habits that support those goals. Part of it will be creating your own board of directors, your support system. If you really want to outsmart your goals, you can't do it all by yourself. We wanted to buy a car, but if we sat in our house, we probably wouldn't have gotten that car. We had to go out and talk with car dealers. God used a car dealer who just gave us favor and said, I want to sell the car to you. Just give me whatever money you have. It was as if we used jazz, but that car was meant to be ours because we stepped out. Okay? These will start positioning themselves. So for some of you, I hear you. Someone said, dish it out hot and fresh. I am trying. Oh my goodness. This is so, see, one of my purpose in life, I have survived 3 near-death experiences. In one of those near-death experiences, it was the next day that I discovered that I saw a bullet hole in my jacket. That means I was this close. I was this close. In another situation, I remember, I thought it was just a small, I had this small, very small pimple. I thought it was just an insect bite, but then it started growing bigger. It was growing bigger and very painful. I would get to work and I just realized I was sitting on one bomb. I was just sitting on one bomb. After a while, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know how we're having those symptoms and we're not paying attention to them? If you want to dominate the next 90 days, pay attention to self-care. Embrace the habits that will help you to achieve those goals. So, I was just managing. Remember what I said, you can't change what you continue to tolerate. I was tolerating this pain. I would take paracetamol thinking everything was well. But then after a while, I knew that I needed a doctor. Well, people do not need a physician. When you discover that you need a physician, go get one. So I realized I needed a doctor. So after work that day, I just packed my laptop and I went to the hospital. I thought it would just be a simple check, So they had a simple check and they said, oh, probably maybe it's an infection, probably maybe an insect bite. And so the lady dressed the spot, the area. She put a little bandage and that was it. I remember asking her, do I need any antibiotics or something? She said, no, you'll be fine. It's a Friday. Just come back on Monday if you're feeling any more pain. That's how she just said it. Now, the whole of Saturday, I suffered. Hey, I had that pain. The whole of Sunday, I was feeling the pain. I said, but she told me I didn't need anything. First thing Monday morning, nobody told me before I ran to the hospital. And I said, this pain is not going away. And you won't believe it. What I thought was going to be a 30 minutes check, just simple check. They'll probably give me some antibiotics and I would go. I just realized they started asking me to run more tests. Before I knew it, I was running CT scan. Then I had to run, all those tests, MRI, this one. They started calling all the names. They came for the first set of blood. They came back for another set of blood. They came back for another. I was like, on top what? Guess what? I was in the hospital for hours. I saw people coming and going. I was waiting for the test results. And so they put me in a waiting room. After a while, 3 doctors came into the room. See, when you see a doctor in your room, when you see a doctor come to you and they look confused or they look worried, you better be worried. 3 doctors came and, they were speaking French, but they were trying to say it in English so I could hear the grammar. And the first question they asked me is, Miss, do you have family here? Okay, in Yoruba we say kilagbe kileju. I don't know how to translate that, but it just simply means I came to the hospital for a simple check. You're asking me, do I have family here? What does one question have to do with the other? But guess what? That was exactly what was happening. And what I realized was That small thing that I thought was really small had turned into a major infection, such that they told me if they did not wheel me into the theater that evening, I could be brain dead by the following morning. It started as a small thing. You're talking brain dead. Where did that come from? There is a purpose for your life, child of God. And it's important, no matter the season of life you're in. Maybe you're going through something right now. Maybe you're in that place where they're telling you that this small thing has become this thing, this big thing. Maybe you've made a mistake. Whatever it is, it's time to rebirth something. It's time to believe. And so I had to quickly call my husband. I had a 9-month-old baby at that time. I had to hug them because they had to wheel me into the theater. They cleared their schedule. They cleared their schedule so that I could get into the theater. And I was like, I came in thinking there was nothing. Why am I going to have a surgery? Why? And I remember I was crying. I wasn't even sure if I was going to come out alive. Will I see my family again? What is happening? What could be happening? Maybe you're in a place of panic right now and you're wondering, what is happening? God is with you. God is with you. Embrace great habits. Okay, that's why I'm telling you this story. Now, I got out from the surgery. Thank God for that. But once I started gaining consciousness, after the anesthesia wore off, I realized that there were these yellow hazard stickers. Those skeleton yellow hazard stickers. They were all over my room. I realized I had been put in a very quiet, dark place. I woke up and I was wondering, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? Eventually, they came to explain that I had an infection and they felt it was contagious. And while they were still trying to understand what it was, the best precaution was to put me in a separate place. Guess what? I came into the hospital with a tiny thing. For the next 30 days, I was in isolation. The next 30 days were like hell. I was in 30 days of isolation. The doctors were coming and going. They would try a combination of antibiotics. After 3 days, my body will reject the treatment. They kept manipulating different things. I'm telling you, by day 15, I could feel like my body was about to leave. My spirit was about to leave my body. Like it was saying, oh, goodbye. I could feel at some point, I started feeling that my spirit was struggling. When you're driving a car on gear 1 and you stay on gear 1 consistently on gear 1, what happens after a while? The engine starts to struggle. Embrace great habits. You can't keep driving the car of your life on gear 1. You may need to know how to switch it to gear 2, move it to gear 3, move it to gear 4. Let the car cruise at its level. And when you're on gear 5 and you get to a traffic light, you must know when to take it back to gear 1 so that you don't hit the traffic light. Some of us, there are red lights that are coming, there are green lights that are coming. You must know when to speed up and when to slow down. When to speed up and when to slow down. That's what I call life balance. Life balance is not a scale. It's not about work fighting against life. It's about how am I positioning myself to create a flow in the season of my life, across the dimensions of my life. When I'm on gear 1, my car is moving. When it's time to go to gear 2, I go on. When it's time to move to gear 3, I move on. When it's time to go to gear 4, I move on. When I can do gear 5, I move on. When there's a red light or a traffic light, I come back to gear 1. You must know how to get into the flow. Keep your life balance in a flow. The car is balanced, the car is moving, but it's not static. The car is balanced, the car is moving, but it's not static. Very important. Very important. Now, I hope that was for somebody. I'm talking about embracing great habits. That's step number 8. For the next 30 days, let me finish if you want me to finish the story, type in the chat box because time is going. Do you want me to tell you the rest of the story? Let me know in the chat box. I'm ready to share, but I just want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Okay. So for the next 30 days, I was in isolation. Yes, Ijoma, you said you and I have almost the same story. We all have stories. You have a story, but your story will bring you victory if you are able to understand the purpose of that story. Everything in your life has a purpose. The fact that you were born in Cameroon or Nigeria or Malaysia has a purpose. The fact that you were created the way you are has a purpose. If you understand and you can redefine your identity, you are able to change the trajectory of your life and dominate the next 90 days. You were born, you were codified to dominate. You were codified to be unstoppable. at work and life. You just need to understand it and embrace it. Embracing great habits is my step number 8. Because no matter how big your goals are, no matter how much you understand your purpose, there are many people who can deliver nations but are dead. Why? Either maybe they worked themselves into burnout, or for some reason, they got sick, or it was time for God to take them. Okay? So, but while you are alive and well, embrace great habits. Some of us don't sleep. It's amazing how many of us don't sleep. You sleep maybe 30 minutes, because you have listened to one motivational guru who told you that rich people don't sleep. Who told you? Who told you? God designed sleep. It is a law. It's a principle. It's a natural principle. The way your body regenerates itself. There's a TEDx talk that talks about the brain, that the brain is probably the only organ in the body. When we're sleeping, it rejuvenates itself. It excretes its poo and keeps you revived and refreshed. That headache you've been having for days, that migraine you've been complaining about, is not village people. Check your habits. There's something. Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you thinking well? Are you watching what you're watching? Are you watching what you're taking into yourself? Many of us have big gates in our houses that protect the house from thieves, but we don't guard the thieves of our lives, the thieves of our time, the thieves of our destinies, the thieves of our thoughts and processes. Many of us don't have a gate over our heart. Everything on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, you're just taking everything in. It has an effect. It has an effect. Yes, we've been codified to dominate. Understand your code. For those of you that do coding, once you put the right program, the system will work. If your system is out of focus, it's time to upgrade. Your system is telling you, upgrade this thing. Yeah. One day, that system will slow down and stop working. It's the same thing. Embrace great habits because they will help you to deliver the vision that God has given to you. So by day 15, let me finish my story. I know you like story. By day 15, I'm telling you, physically, I could feel my spirit struggling. It was struggling. In my mind, I told myself, no way. These doctors, they're trying their best. They come into the room, 2 days, the drugs will work. After that, they will have to change it again because something is not working. I just started redefining my identity. I'm a child of God. I will get out of this place. I will see my family again. I will live in the land of the living. I still have work to do. And I just felt my spirit man started to war and to fight. When I talk about fighting, remember what I said, it's not physical fight. My spirit man was saying, no, I'm not going. Mercy was saying no. Courage was saying no. And so I asked them to please tell my husband to send me my laptop. And on my laptop, thank God for YouTube and all that. I went to gather all the tapes of Kenneth Hagin, Catherine Kuhlman. If you know all these people that rose people up from the dead, they performed these miracles. I went to go and look for all those and I put a playlist together. Faith. I started, remember what I said, the battle for the best life is in the mind. So I started gathering these tapes and not tapes, this recordings. Thank God for anyone who has put any of those things on YouTube. I found a lot of old messages. I put a playlist together. Then the next morning, when the nurse came, I said, please move my bed to the window. My bed was somewhere in the center of the room. I said, move my bed to the window. She was looking puzzled. Why should I move your bed to the window? I said, just move my bed to the window. See, there are things that God is doing in your life that you don't need to tell everybody about. Child of God. It's not everything you need to go out and spread on Instagram. If there's a war going on your inside, settle it. Settle it with God. Settle it. Okay, so I just told her, move my bed to the window. Now, why was I doing that? It was a prophetic thing. Because I felt, you know what? As long as I can move my body a bit and look up when the sun is rising, and I can move my body a bit and look up when the sun is setting, I am getting out of here. So every morning, I will lift my tired body. My body was frail. I couldn't even speak or talk like I'm talking to you now. But I will move my body and I will look at the sun rising. And I will say in my mind, as the sun is rising, my spirit is rising. My body is rising. And as the sun is setting, I'm saying every disease, every infection is declining. Everything that is not of God in this body is declining. And before I knew it, every single day, I will say those things. Every single day, I will say those things. Now, I didn't get a miracle right after. It's not that they came back to the next day and said I was being healed. No, I was still feeling the same symptoms. Some of you, you're feeling the same symptoms, but your spirit man is changing. Your mindset is changing, getting ready for the breakthrough. Getting ready for the breakthrough. Don't take the fact that you are quiet. Don't take quietness for complacency. No. When you plant a seed, it doesn't show or sprout the same day. It first has to germinate. It first has to break away some layers. It starts to take roots. It starts to take root. And as it takes root, then it begins to spread out and grow. Don't take your inactivity for quietness. See, for some of you, it's a season of stillness, a season of stillness. For the next 30 days or 60 days, you might just shut off everything on social media and just go into a quiet place so you can hear from God. It's your season of stillness where you need to reposition yourself, understand who you are. And it's a fight you're fighting on the inside, not with anybody else. It's on the inside. And so every morning I will move my body and say, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. As the sun is rising, my faith is rising, my body is rising, everything about me is rising. As the sun is setting, every infection is diminishing. Everything that is not of God in this body is dying. I use that as my symbol, and I will do it every morning and every night. Gradually, maybe day 20, day 21, I can't tell you exactly which day. But then the doctors came into my room and I could see that their faces had changed. It meant that something was working. After a while, I started feeling energy in my hands, started feeling energy in my legs. I was able to get up by myself. After a while, I could take my bath myself because God was at work. God was at work. God was at work. God was at work. And I remember the day they gave me a clean bill. The day they gave me a clean bill and said, you are free to leave the hospital and go home. In my heart, I was like, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? Because I didn't want to infect anybody. Are you sure? Am I really healed? You know how it is when God says, I'm going to deliver you. Then he delivers you and you're still like, am I? Is it true? Is it true? Is it really me? Position for success. Position for it. God has set a table before you in the next 90 days. Bring yourself and sit down comfortably. Some of you, some promotions are coming your way. They're talking about you in the places that matter. When those things come, settle down. Settle down and say, yes, I was born for such a time as this. Some of you, you're developing some apps. You're creating an NGO, a social enterprise, a fintech. There's an idea that God has been giving to you. It is time to get up. As the sun is rising every morning, tell yourself, I am unstoppable. And go out and do it. And so I got that clean bill. I didn't even call my husband. I said, you know what? I will find my way home. And the first thing I did when I left the hospital is there's this lawn beside the hospital. I took off my shoes and I was just walking. Remember, I had been praying, I will survive in the land of the living, right? So I put my feet on the floor. I'm sure some of the people who were watching me just stepping on the grass barefooted. Some of them will be like, is this person okay? She just came out from the hospital. But they didn't understand what I was going through. They didn't understand how alive I felt. They didn't understand the impact of being able to step. I took a walk. I oxygen. In the last 18 months, many of us have had to understand the power of oxygen. This air we breathe in and out, and we just don't bother. The fact that you wake up and you feel good every morning is a testimony. How dare you? How dare you say, you know what? I don't even wish to be alive. Come on. There are people who will die to have what you have. You may not have everything. You may not be where you want to be. But you know what? If you position yourself, it's a matter of time. That seed that you've planted will germinate. That seed will germinate. Okay? So I hope that story encourages someone. Embrace great habits. Protect your well-being. Protect your well-being. Very important. Okay? Protect your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Okay? Very important. You see now, I'm feeling the heat in this room. I'm feeling the heat. Okay, protect yourself. Very importantly. All right? Protect your well-being, because what you have in front of you is larger than where you are right now. What you have in front of you is larger than where you have right now. Okay? So remember what I said. Structure your goals. I've talked about, embracing great habits. And then I've talked about protecting your well-being. And step number, commit. The last step, commit to yourself. Make a commitment. Make a commitment to yourself that by this time Christmas, you will not be where you are today. I can't do it for you. You see how I'm beginning to sweat now because I'm trying to pour out something to you. But you know what? If you choose not to do anything about it, nothing will change. I can't come into your house and do it for you. You have to step up and do it yourself. And so commit to yourself. Because guess what? We are committed to something. Oh. You may think, oh, I don't know, my problem is commitment. No, your problem is not commitment because you are committed to something. You are committed to social media, or you are committed to complaining, or you are committed to finding excuses, or you are committed to time wasting. You are committed to something right now. So instead of committing it to things that are not shaping your future, why don't you commit it to things that will transform your generations to come? That your future self will thank you for. That your future self will thank you for. Courage. What will stir up courage in you? What will stir up that courage in you? Community. Who are the people that you need? Who can help you as you go on this journey? Surround yourself with your own board of directors, your own board of directors, your own board of directors, people who can cheer you on, people who can tell you the truth, people who, when things are not going well, they can pull you back and say, you need to stop that. Commit to excellence. Commit to excellence. There's this story about, when someone who was building a temple, and as he was building and painting it, there were some nitty-gritty areas where he was given details. And someone said, but this thing that you're painting, nobody will see it. And he answered, he said, yes, nobody may see it, but God sees it. Commit yourself to excellence. Stop settling for less. Stop settling for safe. Stop doing the bare minimum. Some of us, I want a salary increase. I want, the people in my office, they're not appreciating what I'm doing. Commit yourself to excellence. Decide to do beyond where you are. Don't just fulfill your job scope at work. Go beyond it. Go beyond it. And as you do that, you're building your competence. As you do that, you're building your community. As you do that, you're establishing yourself in righteousness. As you do that, you're bringing clarity into your space. And so I hope that this 10 steps, how to dominate the next 90 days, I hope is making sense to you. When you structure yourself, you're using, through things I will mention, you're using the ABCDEs. Some of you may ask, how can I be productive? How can I stay productive? I call them the ABCDEs of productivity. The A is to activate early. Some of us, the best time of the day that your brain is at 100% could be very early. So if that works for you, do it. If you're the night owl, do it. Whatever works for you, activate your mindset every morning. Number B, block time. The same 24 hours we have, some people are using it for good and some are using it for evil. Time blocking is a great way to help you to do the things that you need to do in life. So block time as you schedule your priorities, say, okay, this is what I'm going to do starting tomorrow. You are here with me because we blocked this time. You're still here with me because we blocked this time. So B is to block time. When will I do it? C is to cycle it. Cycle it around the seasons of your life, the energy levels you have. Align yourself, align your goals around and cycle it. Okay, cycle just means when is the most productive part of my day? Maybe that's when I'll do the bulk of my heavy work, heavy lifting. And then the other times of the day, you can't be Netflixing at the most productive time of your day. No, you're not going to get anything done. You can't be doing your many things when you know you need the energy. So channel your energy in the right direction and use it how it matters. D, decide what you will do, what you will delegate, what you will delete, and what you will deploy or distribute. As you think about it, you wake up every morning and you tell yourself, what is it that I will do? What is it that I will delegate? What is it that I will delete? What is it that I will deploy? Which is how will I help someone else? What is it that I'm doing in this mission that God has given me? And the E is to energize yourself. Energize, I talked about embracing great habits. Energize yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Energize your dreams by turning those dreams into goals and actions. Energize your future by doing what you need to do now. See, the future is here. Some of us are still thinking that future is away. Some people are waiting for January before they change their lives. If you start now, by January, you would have transformed your life already. And they will wonder, wasn't it the same Tara? Wasn't it the same choice? Wasn't it the same Ify? Yes, 90 days can make a difference in your life. 90 days can make a difference in your life. If this has helped you, please say so in the chat box. I just want to be sure that you've taken something away. I'm rounding up. If you have questions for me, please go to join us on Instagram at the 90-Day Club. Okay, I want us to interact a lot in there. Put in your thoughts, put in your comments. I would love to know what your audacious goal is. I would love to know the things that you need to be doing. Yes, the 9th point. My 9th point was protect your well-being. So let me go over the 10 points again. Establish where you are. Take responsibility. I said identify your blockers. Redefine your identity. Clarify your vision, your why. Craft your fight goals. Okay, structure and outsmart those goals. Number 8, I said embrace great habits. Number 9, protect your well-being, which is, and when I say well-being, I'm talking about that wheel of life. So remember where we started from, the 8 dimensions, okay? Protect it. Once you are embracing those great habits, protect it, okay? And number 10, commit to excellence. Commit to yourself. Commit to your development. Some of you, to be able to do the 90 days, you may need to go forward to school. You may need to take an online course. You may need to get a coach. It's interesting. You know, I'm a life coach. I'm a confidence coach. It's amazing how many people want to change their lives, but they don't want to invest in a coach. They just want to keep doing it by themselves. It's okay. Do it by yourself, but you can't do life by yourself. You need a board of directors, and having a coach is one of them. It will cost you money, but I'm telling you, what is the cost of your dream? What is the cost of your dream that taking that money instead of buying pizza or that wig or that dress, you will not put that investment in? Commit to excellence and commit to yourself. Expand your community, your board of directors, the people that surround you. As you think about the goals that you need to set, you know, what is the fight you need to do? What are the blockers that you need to find a counterattack for? And then when you wake up in the morning, you know, just like I said, plan your day. Plan your day. Think about it. In the 4 categories of people I mentioned, which category do you belong to? And what are you going to change? What are you going to do about it? Discipline will give you freedom. Discipline will give you freedom. When you do what you need to do now, it will give you freedom tomorrow. When you are productive now, you position yourself for excellence tomorrow. When you work on the things that are difficult now, you make it easier for your tomorrow. Clarity clears away confusion. Focus brings clarity. Focus creates a blindness, which is good. Okay? Energy brings you flow, not hustle. Energy, when you energize yourself, it brings you a flow. Okay? So I've talked about a couple of things. Just take 1 or 2 that you're going to maximize. Lastly, I want to tell you something I practice before I sleep and I practice when I wake up to keep myself energized, to keep myself unstoppable, to keep myself thinking about the things that I need to do. Okay? So I wrote it down and I'm going to just read it out to you. When I wake up in the morning, before I step out of bed, there are a couple of things that I do. And one of the very first things that I do is, you know, I receive. What does that mean? That means I wake up and I commune with God. I'm like, thank you, Lord, for waking me up today. And I receive all that you have for me today. I receive your fullness. I receive your forgiveness. I receive your life. So receiving is the first thing you need to do in the morning. Thank God for the day, express your gratitude and receive. Second thing I do is I reflect. How do I want to spend the day? How do I want today to go? Third thing I do is reset. I reset myself and say, okay, this is who I want to be today. This is what I want to change today. This is how I want to transform my life today. Okay, so I reset. And once I'm resetting, it helps me to refocus. Remember what I said about focus? Focus will bring clarity and it will bring blindness. And then I rekindle. I talk to myself and I say, what is the self-care thing I need to get myself into today? What is it that I need to get myself in today? How will I take care of myself today? Maybe I need to drink more water. How will I move my body more today? How will I eat healthy today? What are the things that so I don't leave without picking one thing that I will replenish or rekindle myself with. All this I do in a space of a couple of minutes before I step out. If you are the type that just jumps up in the morning and you pick your phone, you need to repent. You need to repent. Okay? Or if you're the type that you just wake up, oh, the alarm wakes you up and you just jump up and start hustling. There is more to life than that. There is more to life than that. So it's very important. It's very important to tell yourself, these are the things that I'm going to do. So I've posted in the chat box the link to the 90-day club. From the 90-day club, you'll probably find every other thing that you need to do. Some of you, you can, if you don't want to join the Instagram thing, you can make sure you're on my newsletter so that way you get the messages that I'm sharing from time to time in those places. But when you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, imagine you wake up in the morning and you receive. You wake up in the morning and you reflect. You wake up in the morning and you reset. You wake up in the morning and you refocus. You wake up in the morning and you rekindle. You think about your self-care. Before you start doing any other thing, imagine where your life could be. Imagine. So I do that in the morning. And then in the evening, before I go to sleep, there's also a little routine that I do. Remember what I talked about when I said embrace great habits, right? Part of embracing great habits is creating a structure and some routine around your life. So for example, when I'm going to bed, I don't just jump into bed. I don't just jump into bed and just, sleep. I prepare myself for it. So for example, I will review. Once everybody has gone to bed and it's time to go to sleep, I just kind of tell myself, okay, how did today go? What went well today? What didn't go well today? Because it's not every day that everything goes well. But if you don't spend the time to reflect, you don't even know which lessons you learned or God wanted you to learn that day. So I tell myself what went well, what didn't go well. What went well, what didn't go well. And then, I receive forgiveness. Do I need to forgive myself for anything? Do I need to release somebody? Do I need to forgive somebody? There are times when you're angry with somebody and you wake up and you're still angry. Have you had those moments? Somebody upset you. You go to bed. You wake up in the morning and you're still angry as you were before you went to bed. You didn't sleep. You didn't sleep. But when God says he's giving us good sleep, you need to release some things. Release that hurt. Release that pain so that you can sleep well. And then restore. Say a prayer. Restore the grace of God. Restore the mercy of God. Restore strength for the next day. You wake up, you are tired. It's because there was a weight on your mind in your sleep. You didn't sleep well. So think about it. If you spend some time just releasing some of that before you sleep, it might just help you to sleep better. Some of us is our beddings. We need to change your pillow. When last did you change your beddings? Hey, child of God. When last did you adjust the lights, the ambience in your room? When last did you look at yourself in the mirror and say, girl, guy, you've got this? Affirm yourself. Affirm yourself. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope that you understand, the 10 steps on how to dominate the next 90 days. Join us on Instagram. I've put the link in the chat box. Please follow me on Instagram as well. If that helps you, I post things from time to time. I've also we have a podcast, the 90-Day Club podcast. There'll be one release every day. I've put in the link in Spotify. It's also there. Go and listen to episode 1. Episode 1 is all about clarifying your why. And I trust God that he will continue to sustain all of us. I will end with this lovely scripture that I have, and that I love. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. In all the things that we've talked about, how to dominate the next 90 days, whatever actions you're putting down for yourself, remember, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Let him be the priority. Let his codes that are in you, let it surface and put you in a path to purpose. Lean not to your understanding, because you can't do it all by yourself. You need people around you. You need his word. You need his grace. You need the structures that you will position and you place. In all your ways, acknowledge that he is the author and finisher of your life. When you do that, you position yourself for him to give you the blueprint of your life. It's like buying a phone. When you buy a phone, the manufacturer gives you a manual with it. That manual will help you to know how to use the phone so that the phone doesn't crash. So it's the same way as you move into the next 90 days and as you dominate the next 90 days, let God download that blueprint, that manual. For some of you, it's a season of rest. For some of you, it's a season of sweat. For some of you, it's a season of stillness. For some of you, it's a season of stripping away. Identify your season and put your car in gear. Are you supposed to be on gear 1? Is it a gear 2? Is it gear 3? Is it gear 4? Is it gear 5? Create that flow. God's desire is that we flourish, that we are fruitful, that we multiply, and we are unstoppable. Your dreams are unstoppable. Your goals are unstoppable. Everything about you is unstoppable. Not because you will do it in your own strength, but because God, your God, my God, is unstoppable. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Please, this will be on replay on YouTube. You can't keep this to yourself. You can't keep this to yourself, okay? You have to share this with someone. These are the kind of videos that should go viral. But no, it's Big Brother and it is people who are shaking their bum that will go viral. This is transformational. Help me to make it go viral. Share it with someone tonight. Share it with someone tomorrow. Share it with someone the day after. Let the joy of the Lord be your strength. I entrust you and myself into the saving hands of God, and I believe that our lives will be unstoppable, they will be fruitful, we will multiply, and God will take the glory. At the end of the day, it's so that he gets the glory. Amen and amen. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Have a lovely night or morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you, Chidima, Tayo, Choice, Zini, Ijoma. If I don't call your name, it's not because I don't want you. Thank you, Uncle Femi, Ifi, Izora. I see you. Love every single person. Solomon, everyone that has joined me today. Thank you for being here. Go back and watch this over and over. Share this with someone. And, I hope to see you in the club. We'll share things on a daily basis. By Christmas, let's come back and celebrate and celebrate and celebrate. Be unstoppable. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.